All right, in this video, I want to talk about creatine, and I have a couple of studies here. This study in particular is a systematic review and meta-analysis. They analyzed dozens of randomized controlled trials with hundreds of people when it comes to sample size. Here are some of the results. So basically, as you can imagine, one group, they did resistance training and took creatine, and the other group also did resistance training, the same amount of volume, the volume was equated, and took a placebo pill that didn't do anything. And they were randomized, so they didn't really know if they were consuming the placebo or the creatine. And the study was done on young adults, almost all men. And the results were insane. So the group that took creatine, that did nothing else different except take creatine, they saw an increase of 1.14 kilograms of lean body mass by the end of the study. So in a few months. Also reduced body fat percentage by this amount, almost 1% less body fat, and also just body fat mass in general, almost 1 kilogram less. No difference in training status, so like I said, the volume was equalized to make sure there were no confounding variables. And yeah, essentially they gained muscle and lost fat at the same time. And the only difference was they took creatine at an average of around 5 grams per day. So they started with 67 studies, and after the exclusion criteria, they ended up with 12. So as you can see, these are all the 12 studies that were selected after the exclusion criteria. And basically the average was it increased lean body mass, like we mentioned previously. And at the same time, it decreased body fat percentage and also absolute fat mass in general. So even if it's by 1 kilogram or 2 pounds, they lost fat and gained muscle at the same time. And the only difference was one group was taking 5 grams of creatine and the other was taking a placebo. That's the only difference. And it's basically free fat loss and free muscle mass. Creatine is really cheap, it's the most researched supplement, and it has all these benefits when it comes to body composition. So if you want to be a bit leaner and have a bit more muscle with pretty much no extra effort, you can just take creatine. It doesn't take you that much time. You can put it on your oats, for example, or somewhere else, like yogurt. It does not have any flavor, so it's pretty easy to consume. And yeah, I think everyone should take creatine. And some people ask, what about hair loss? Well, we did have that 2009 rugby player randomized control trial, but the problem was the control group changed, which pretty much gave the illusion that it was increasing DHT. But we have the most modern randomized control trial on the subject, which was done last year, which unlike the rugby player study from 2009, which did not even assess hair thickness before and after. They only pretty much analyzed DHT, for example. But this one actually did. They did both the analysis of DHT before and after, as well as the hair thickness, to try to finally reach a conclusion of whether or not creatine increases hair loss. So 45 trained men for 12 weeks of creatine supplementation compared to a placebo. And you can tell by the results here, there were no significant differences in DHT or DHT to testosterone ratio or hair thickness before and after. So creatine does not cause hair loss, and it's going to give you pretty much free gains when it comes to the gym, as well as a leaner body composition. So again, I think this is a supplement that everyone should take. It makes no sense to not take it at this point. And if you want to maximize the physique benefits, you should take 5 grams a day. However, we also have other research when it comes to mental benefits. And that research usually uses 10 to 20 grams. Although 20 grams is more for when you're sleep deprived, that it actually shows the benefits. And most people will see the mental benefits with 10 grams a day. So that's what I take. I take 10 grams of creatine a day. It has mental benefits because it passes that threshold. It's easier to saturate muscle creatine levels than it is brain creatine levels. That's why I take more. So I take 10 grams instead of 5. I used to take 5 for a long time. And yeah, if you're not taking it, you should. It's extremely cheap. It improves body composition with no extra effort, and it does not cause hair loss. So if you don't already take it, please start taking it. It makes no sense to not take it at all. And also, if you want to build an attractive physique in 90 days, you can click the link in the description, and I have a program for that.